Hello Ji, Namaskar, Salam, Sat Sri Akal. Wish you all a very warm welcome to this wonderful channel, NEET Elixir by Unacademy. I'm your very own Dr. Sachin Kapur. So today we are going to continue with our chapter, that is Living World. I hope all of you must have attended the previous session also. In case you have not attended the previous session, I request you to just explore the channel, see the playlist and must watch that particular video. So wish you all a very warm welcome and a very bright and prosperous future. Hello Arpita, hello Tirthraj, Nitya, Priyanshu, Namrata, welcome. I hope audio, video, everything is perfectly clear to you all. Harishankar, Prerna, can you all see me? Can you all hear me? Audio, video, everything is clear? Do let me know in the chat box. Okay, so let's start with the session and keep your notes copies ready, right? One very important announcement for all of you. It's an important announcement, and what that is, iconic mega sale week. Prepare today and prosper tomorrow. Prices dropped for Unacademy plus iconic platform. Prices have dropped and you can save up to 15% plus 20% on your NEET UG subscription. We are running the batches Target NEET UG 2024. Then we have batches Target NEET UG 2025. 12 months subscription or 24 months subscription. That's up to you whether you are targeting for 2024 or you are targeting for 2025. So once you decide for the subscription, you can choose my code, that is Sachin Live, SACHINLIVE, Sachin Live. So hit the like button so that we can proceed. Chali. Living World, lecture number 1 that we have already done. Today is lecture number 2. I am your very own Dr. Sachin Kapur with MPhil and PhD degree with more than 24 years of teaching experience. More than 10 lakh students teachers have been mentored by me. Undoubtedly, it was their own hard work also, and I want you to be one of them. So you have to remember, world famous doctor banna hai. Hard work, smart work. Get ready to do hard work as well as smart work. As I start my session with a beautiful quotation, so what I have today is, a winner is a dreamer who never gives up. A winner is a dreamer who never gives up. Agreed? See, if you have a dream, if you want to become something in your life, you will have to struggle. You will have to compromise certain things. Then only you can shine like a bright star. So Unit 1 of class 11th NCERT, Diversity in the Living World, and as I always tell you that you should be familiar with this syllabus, we have these 4 chapters in the first unit. Living World, Biological Classification, Plant Kingdom, Animal Kingdom. Now, I have made a kind of overall, you can say the concept map for this particular chapter, that what all you need to study in this chapter. We'll be discussing what is living. We have discussed it in our previous session also. Nomenclature, which we'll be discussing today. Then next session will be on taxonomic categories and next will be on taxonomical aids. Always remember one thing, whatever chapter you are going to study, always make a kind of framework for that particular chapter, that these are the subtopics which you need to learn. This makes you familiar with your subject in a better way. Right, Ji? Clear hai? Shubham, Shaurya, Prerna, Mansi, Nitya. Keep hitting the like button also. So all my Raja Beta and Rani Betiyan, let's have a quick review of what we have discussed in the previous session. I told you, wherever you find the name of a particular scientist in any of the chapters in NCERT, that is important. Questions can be framed. So if you remember, in the previous session, I told you about Ernst Mayr. Ernst Mayr What was the important thing which you are supposed to remember? Darwin of 20th century. Today we'll be practicing some questions also. So I am giving you a quick recap of what we have discussed in the last class. Now, let's see. What does NCERT says about life? In my previous session, I discussed with you about living organisms in detail. Now, step by step, let's see what are the lines which are mentioned in NCERT from which the questions are framed. So, be very attentive, be very sincere and very careful. NCERT says, when we try to define living, we conventionally look for distinctive characteristics exhibited by living organisms. What are those distinctive characteristics which we look for when we try to define life? NCERT says it's growth, reproduction and the ability to sense environment and mount a suitable response. So these are the features which come to our mind immediately as unique features of living organisms. Let me tell you what kind of question examiner can frame from this. Strictly, if we go by NCERT, the examiner can ask you, when we try to define life, what are the distinctive characters which come to your mind immediately as unique features of living organisms? I have framed the question also on the same. Let me tell you the question. Okay, here comes the question. From each and every sentence, every paragraph of NCERT, I have tried to frame a question which is expected, what's the answer? Let me know, guys, what is the answer? Whenever you answer a particular question, ensure that you have to write the question number also. So this is question number 1 and you feel that the answer is D option, then it should be D. Priyanshu, Sumit, Gyandeep, Iram Fatima, Namrata, Prerana, wonderful. Sumit Roy, all of you have answered it correctly, that it is all of these which come to our mind. I have highlighted the answer also. Clear? Every line of NCERT, question. Line of NCERT, question. That will make the subject strong. Then NCERT says one can add a few more features also. While defining life, one can add few more features. And what are those features? Metabolism, ability to self-replicate, ability to self-organize, interact and emergence. Now this is important. This particular word of NCERT, emergence. Let's see what does this mean. What is the meaning of emergence? Then I'll show you a question also which I have framed from this. What is the meaning of emergence? Let's understand. What does emergence means? See, emergence is the appearance of the traits from a complex arrangement that is not apparent from the traits of its simpler constituents. A word given in NCERT, emergence. But what does it mean? So emergence in simple meaning says it is appearance of those traits, those qualities from a complex organization, the qualities which you do not find in the individual components of that complex organization. Are you getting it? You need to understand the meaning of the emergence. Say for example, vertebrates with complex nervous system. You are a vertebrate, I am a vertebrate. We have a very complex nervous system, and because of that complex nervous system, we are showing a kind of behavior and social structure that cannot be predicted from the behavior or social structure of the primitive ancestors. You got it? This is the meaning of emergence. A kind of behavioral pattern which you cannot predict, which will only show itself once there is complex organization. Sumit, Sonu, Namrata, Nitya, do you people have your NCERTs with you right now? You can open the page and you can see this word emergence. And unfortunately, no one has explained you it earlier. Is it clear? Arman Ali, Divya, Sumit, wonderful ji. Keep hitting the like button also if you are understanding NCERT line by line in detail. Chali, next question. As I told you, after every few sentences, I will show you one question so that you are familiar with the type of questions which can be asked. What additional features other than growth, reproduction and ability to sense environment can be added to define living organisms? Such a question can be framed. Okay, let's hope that this question is asked in NEET. Let's hope for this. Metabolism, agreed, correct. Ability to self-replicate, okay, agreed. Ability to self-organize, interact and emergence, all of these. Question number 2. Divya, Gyandeep, Manasi, Sumit, Tirath, Apurv, Vashu, Priyanshu, Rahul, Malik. Everyone has answered the question correct. It is D. Clear? Giving you the confidence. Questions from every line of NCERT. Next. So, the answer is highlighted here. Let's move forward. Come on, quickly we will recap what we have done in the previous class and then we'll come to the nomenclature part. Characteristics of living organisms. Complete structure in front of you. So, I expect that examiner can frame question from this. See, characteristics of living organisms you can broadly divide into two categories. What are the two categories? Non-definitive features. Features which are present, but they're non-definitive. When you say non-definitive, that means they have exceptions, like growth. Living organisms grow, right? Non-living organisms do not grow. They also grow, but from the outside. So that means growth is a feature, but it is not a defining feature. Reproduction, agreed, living organisms reproduce, but there are exceptions, right? Sterile human couples, infertile animals, they do not reproduce. So, non-definitive features are those which have exceptions, that is growth and reproduction. Now, the second category, definitive features, features which do not have exceptions. Metabolism, cellular organization, consciousness. All living organisms, they show consciousness. Now, this must be coming to your mind that what about a patient who is in coma? I'll discuss that case also. But my dear students, I want you to take a screenshot of this particular slide because this is something which will be asked in your exam. So, I'm just on the side of the screen. I want you to take a screenshot of this particular part. Entire PDF will be provided to you people. Don't worry. You need to join our Telegram group. So, we'll be getting the PDF also. So, this is the part from where examiner can frame the question. Let's move forward. Growth. What is growth? Progressive increase in size and mass of an individual or a cell due to synthesis of protoplasmic and apoplasmatic substances. We discussed in the last class, right? Sonu, Prerana, Akshit. Now, what does NCERT says about this? Increase in mass and increase in number of individuals are the twin characteristics of growth. So, here comes the question. Here comes the question. What is the question? What are the twin characters of growth? Increase in mass, increase in number of individuals. Remember, a multicellular organism grows by cell division, right? Every organism, sexually reproducing organism, starts its life as a single cell which is called zygote. Zygote divides, cleavage divisions, 2-cell stage, 4-cell stage, hai na? So that is what is cell division. Is it clear, Ji? Right? So please, if you have not noted, just one point. What is that one point? Twin characters of growth, increase in mass and increase in number of individuals. Next line. We know that in plants, this growth by cell division occurs continuously throughout their lifespan. Plants, they have meristematic cells which continue to divide. So, in plants, the growth by cell division continues throughout their life. But, in case of animals, this growth is seen only up to a certain age, right? But, NCERT says, cell division occurs in certain tissues to replace the lost cells. In your skin, cell division is happening. In your bone marrow, new RBCs are continuously being formed. Right, Ji? Adnan Samin. Is it clear to you? Arima Pandey, Divya, Priyanshu, Tirath, wonderful, wonderful, Ji. Let's proceed forward. Growth. What is indefinite growth and what is definite growth? Indefinite growth means growth which continues throughout life. Definite growth stops once a genetically predetermined structure has been completely formed. everything is there in your genes. Gradually they are going to unfold themselves, and when a set pattern is achieved, definite growth is going to stop. Is that clear? So we can say that growth two types: indefinite as in case of plants, definite as in case of humans or in case of other animals. What is the case of unicellular organisms, the single-celled organisms? Single-celled organisms, they grow by cell division. Suppose this is one amoeba. This amoeba is going to reproduce and form two daughter amoebae. So this is growth also as well as reproduction also. One can easily observe this in vitro cultures. Do you want to see the cell division in vitro? Do you know what is the meaning of vitro? Vitro refers to glass, kanch. In vitro, outside the body, in the laboratory, in the glass. In a glass petri dish, you can observe this cell division by simply counting the number of cells under the microscope. You take few actively dividing cells, just observe them under the microscope. They keep on dividing. If you provide them with proper nutrition and maintain sterile conditions. Remember, in majority of higher animals and plants, growth and reproduction are mutually exclusive events. I have highlighted each and every sentence so that from wherever there is a possibility of framing a question, you should already be familiar with this. So read this sentence of NCERT very carefully. In majority of higher animals and plants, majority, not all, in majority of higher animals and plants, growth is different, reproduction is different. But in case of unicellular organisms, the scene is different. Okay, chaliye, another question. I want your mind to remain active. I want that the cerebral gyri and sulci should unfold. In Hindi I say, दिमाग के कपाट खुल जाएंगे. All my Raja beta and Vani betiyan, Nitya, Namrata, let's see, Gyandeep. In plants, growth occurs dash, whereas in animals it occurs dash. Question which can be framed strictly from NCERT. Options: in plants growth occurs only up to a certain age. No. Growth occurs continuously. Right. So it seems that B is the correct option. Send me the question number also. Gyandeep, Divya, send me the question number also when you answer a particular question. So your answer is correct. In plants, growth occurs continuously, but in case of animals, it occurs only up to a certain age. Do you know there is an endocrine gland also which we call as the receding endocrine gland, or we call it as a temporary endocrine gland? Can anyone tell me which is the receding endocrine gland or the temporary endocrine gland in your body which is prominent till the childhood time and then gradually it starts degenerating? Okay, I'll give you a clue. This endocrine gland is very closely related to your heart. So it is thymus gland. Okay, next question. Which two of the given points are known as twin characteristics of growth? Important question. Twin characters of growth. Okay, let's see. Increase in mass, increase in number of individuals, cellular organization, cellular differentiation. So you have to choose two characters. It is increase in mass, increase in number of individuals. So what will be the answer for question number 4? Come on, quickly. Priyanshu, Arima Pandey, Vasu Pundir, Nitya Sharma, Sumit Roy. Thymus is the correct answer, that it is a temporary endocrine gland. Now you have to answer this question. So the answer will be A option, G. This one and this one. So this comes to be the correct answer. Let's proceed forward. One must remember that increase in body mass is considered as growth. Non-living objects, they also grow. Objects which are non-living, they also grow if we take an increase in body mass as a criteria for growth. In last class also we discussed this point. Mountains, boulders and sand mounds, they do grow, right? The materials keep on getting deposited on them from outside, so they also grow. However, this kind of growth, this type of growth which is exhibited by non-living objects, is by the accumulation of materials on the outside surface. But whereas in living organisms, it is from inside. The growth is from inside. So this is an important feature. Namrata says that in non-living, it is basically the deposition of the materials. Agreed. So growth we can divide into two types. There is extrinsic growth, there is intrinsic growth. Extrinsic means outside. Extrinsic growth is exhibited by the non-living matter. I have used the term matter, non-living matter. Intrinsic growth is the growth that takes place inside the body of the living organisms. So now this point is something which is very, very important, that growth is a characteristic. It is a characteristic feature, but not a defining property of living beings. Please now note down in your notes copies. Come on, quickly. Arima, Moaz Hussain, Ananya. Come on, quickly. Namrata, you need to note down this point in your notes copies. That is, growth is a characteristic but not a defining property of living beings. But little bit modification of the sentence. Just focus. What does the second sentence says? Intrinsic growth can be taken as a defining property. If the question is about intrinsic growth, then that can be taken as a defining property. In general, if the examiner has used the word growth, then that cannot be taken as a defining property. Is that clear? Next question. Question number 5. Quickly. Non-living objects. Option 1. Grow from external surface by collecting substances on them. Second. Grow from internal surface like living organisms. Third, they do not grow at all. Which of the following options is correct? Come on, tell me A, B, C, D. Or do you think that all these options are correct? Vashu says growth is not a defining property of living beings. Clear, Vashu? But if it is written intrinsic growth, then that will be a defining property. So what is the correct answer? First option is the correct answer, that non-living objects, they grow from external surface by collecting substances on them, right? Next, so it's clearly written, growth therefore cannot be taken as a defining property of living organisms. Clear? Conditions under which it can be observed in non-living organisms have to be explained, and then we understand that it is a characteristic of living systems. When an organism dies, a dead organism does not grow. Right? A dead organism does not grow. So many times you must have heard of that in a dead body, the nails, they keep on growing. No, it's not like that. The thing is, the skin behind this nail bed, the skin behind this thing, right? It shrinks. The skin behind your nails, it shrinks. So the nails give an appearance that as if they are growing. Is that correct? Right? Do hit the like button if you have not pressed the like button. When you hit the like button, you mark your attendance in my heart as well as on my channel. So please answer this question. Mark the correct statement. Only living organisms grow. In plants, the growth by cell division occurs up to a certain age. Third, the growth in the living organisms is from inside. Which is the correct answer? All my future doctors, Nitya, Arpita, Prerana, Priyanshu, Tiratraj, Ananya, answer this particular question. So I expect such questions to be asked in your NEET exam. Quickly, Sumit, Prerana, Arpita, Divya, Namrata, Poonam, Gyandeep, constantly I am looking at your chat also. So all my Raja Beta and Rani Betiya, the correct answer is that the growth in the living organisms is from inside. The remaining two options were wrong. Okay, next question. See, so many questions I have. When you practice lot many questions side by side while you are reading NCERT, you are understanding NCERT, and when you are practicing questions also, that gives you confidence. That also makes your mind clear that what kind of questions can be directly framed from the NCERT itself. Which of the following statements regarding growth? They are incorrect. One particular statement is incorrect, or let's see how many are incorrect. In animals, growth is seen up to a certain age. Remember, examiner has asked about the incorrect statement. Second, increase in body mass is considered as growth. Growth by cell division occurs continuously throughout their life in case of animals. Increase in mass and number of individual is the characteristic feature of animal growth. Which statement is incorrect? So, examiner is asking for the incorrect statement. While answering the question, keep that thing in mind. Your answer to question number 7 is correct. Can you do one thing right now? Kindly share the link of this video with all your friends in all your groups. Namrata, Gyandi, Prerana, Poonam, Tiratraj, Arima. C is the correct answer. Okay, ji. What does NCERT tells us about reproduction? Reproduction is the characteristic of living organisms. Clear? Agreed? In multicellular organisms, what does reproduction means? It means production of the progeny which has features more or less similar to those of parents. Now, what does it mean? Reproduction is the ability to procreate. We know that living organisms, they reproduce. NCERT is talking about multicellular organisms. Remember this thing. Invariably and implicitly, must understand the meaning of these two words. Invariably, zyadatar, as we say in Hindi, we refer to sexual reproduction. When you're talking about this thing, you're talking about sexual reproduction. But there is another mode of reproduction also, that is asexual. Organisms, they reproduce by asexual means also. So, NCERT says that reproduction is of two types, asexual as well as sexual. In sexual reproduction, there is fusion of gametes. There is sperm, there is ovum, egg cell, they fuse to form one cell, that is zygote. So, the offsprings, they are showing variations, variations, small genetic differences which are found among organisms belonging to same species, right? When it comes to asexual reproduction is uniparental, one parent is involved. It does not involve fusion of gametes. So, offsprings are identical to their parents, but sometimes there can be mutations. Remember this thing, mutation is the only source of variation for asexually reproducing organisms. If you get a question that which is the only source of variation for asexually reproducing organisms, then what will be your answer? Gandhi beta, your answer will be mutation, sudden changes in DNA. Mutation is the source of variation in case of asexually reproducing organisms. Got it? Clear? Gandhi says, sir, please have a sip of water. Sure, I'll have it shortly. Let's proceed. Fungi, fungus, they multiply and spread easily due to millions of asexual spores which they are producing. When we'll discuss about fungi, we'll study this in detail. In lower organisms like yeast and even hydra, we observe budding. So, these are the types of asexual reproduction. Hydra. Hydra belongs to which phylum? Can anyone tell me? Devansh, Tiratraj, Ananya Sarkar. Ananya is again telling me, sir, please have a sip of water. Sure, Ananya. My energy gets doubled up, Ishtiyaq Ahmed, whenever I am live with you people on the YouTube. So, tell me, what was my question? Hydra belongs to which phylum? Raja beta, Hydra belongs to Nidaria phylum or the Coelenterata phylum. We'll discuss that in animal kingdom. Hydra is considered to be immortal. After every 45 days, all the body cells of Hydra, they are replaced. Okay, question number 8. Quickly, all the best. Let's see who's the one who's going to answer it first. Arima Pandey, Priyanshu, Ananya, I just want to ask one thing. That is everything clear to you people? I'm conducting this session exclusively in English, but the language is very simple, easy to understand. I'm not using any complex words or intricate words for which you need to find out the synonyms. So I think this is very simple English which you all should understand. Please be regular in my sessions. I promise you that if you are regular, then you are going to get benefited definitely. Priyanshu beta? Okay, great, wonderful. Keep hitting the like button also. In multicellular organisms, dash refers to the production of progeny possessing features more or less similar to those of parents. Very simple question, but just imagine that you are sitting in the examination hall and there is NEET 2024 question paper in front of you, and at that time when you see such a question, hai na, so you might feel lost. Well, what is this? So it's a very easy question. It is reproduction, right? I just want to make you familiar with each and every sentence of NCERT from where the examiner can frame a question. In planaria, flatworm, planaria, we observe true regeneration. Planaria, you know, which phylum? Platyhelminthes. Platyhelminthes, flatworms. Planaria has excellent power of regeneration. It shows epimorphosis. It shows morpholexis also. Priyanshu says, yes, sir. Studying in English from you feels so good. Subject becomes much easier. Great, great. Namrata beta. So, NCERT says in planaria, we observe true regeneration. What is the meaning of this term true regeneration? That is, fragmented organism regenerates the lost part of its body and can become a new organism. If you cut planaria into two halves, each half is able to form a new planaria. That is what is the beauty. This is what is regeneration. Okay. Now, this sentence is important. Examiner can frame a question from this. Fungi, filamentous algae, and protonema of mosses. You will discuss this in mosses. They all easily multiply by fragmentation. So, examiner can frame a question out of the given options, which are the ones which multiply by fragmentation. Hai na? They can ask a question like this. Namrata, Harsh. So, you must be thinking that the next question will be this only. Okay. Raja beta, when it comes to unicellular organisms, say like amoeba, bacteria, unicellular algae, reproduction is synonymous with growth. That is increase in number of cells. This is a very simple sentence, but a very complex question can be framed from this. We are distinguishing unicellular and multicellular organisms when we are discussing reproduction. So, in case of unicellular organisms, when you are talking about reproduction, so it becomes synonymous with growth. We have already defined growth as equivalent to an increase in cell number. So, we notice that in single-celled organisms, we are not very clear about the usage of these two terms, growth and reproduction. There is one amoeba, it is dividing to form two daughter amoebae and then four daughter amoebae. Is it cell division? Is it growth? Is it reproduction? So, that is what the author has written, that we notice that in single-celled organisms, we are not very clear about the usage of these two terms, that is growth and reproduction. Let me know, is this point clear to all of you, all my Raja beta and Vani betiyan? I am kind of decoding NCERT. I am kind of framing question from each and every sentence of NCERT so that you do not face any difficulty, because we find that ultimately the questions, they come from NCERT. But you don't have to limit your knowledge to NCERT only. Fide. Sumit says viruses reproduce. See, Sumit, viruses, they utilize the cellular machinery of the host. Virus is something which is non-living outside the body of the host. Once it enters into the body of the host, it utilizes cellular machinery of the host to multiply. Clear, Raja beta? Can I proceed? Chaliye. Another question, question number 9. We are going to practice lot many questions in today's session. Quickly, I want 100 likes when I am teaching and you are the students. Likes should not be the limitation. The two events which are mutually inclusive in unicellular organisms, what are those two events? Okay. Examiner, I want you to frame a question in NEET 2024, even NEET 2025 from this. Is it reproduction and metabolism? Is it cellular organization and consciousness? Is it sensitivity and self-consciousness, or is it growth and reproduction? What should be the correct answer? Arpita, Gyandeep, Prerna, Tirath, Arima. Great. Bilkul sahi jawab. It is growth and reproduction. Proceed karte hain. Further, there are many organisms. That do not reproduce. Mules, which are the hybrids, sterile worker bees, honeybees, Apis indica, Apis dorsata, Apis mellifera, infertile human couples. There are many organisms which do not reproduce. So, reproduction also cannot be an all-inclusive defining characteristic of living organisms. Agreed? Reproduction cannot be an all-inclusive defining feature, though it is a characteristic feature. Understand the difference between the term, Ananya. Understand the difference between the two terms. Defining feature, characteristic feature. In the beginning itself, I told you. Of course, no non-living object is capable of reproducing or replicating by itself. Agreed? Non-living organisms do not reproduce or replicate. Reproduction distinguishes living from non-living, but reproduction is something which is not essential for the survival. There are organisms which do not reproduce. Is that clear? Right? Manisha Kumari? Next. Mules. You understand mule? Mule is a hybrid between horse and donkey. Female horse and male donkey produces mules. So, mules, sterile worker bees and infertile human couples do not reproduce. So, please focus on this particular sentence. It is important. Reproduction is not an all-inclusive defining feature of life. Note down this thing in your notes copies so that this sentence gets imprinted in your mind. Ananya, Nitya, Arima, Priyanshu, Namrata, is that clear? Right? Female horse, that is mare, and male donkey, the cross is mule. Clear, Ji? Okay. Which of the following is correct with respect to reproduction in living organisms? Answer this question quickly. You have 10 seconds. Arpita, Arima Pandey says, I have noted. Wonderful. Keep hitting the like button and keep sharing the lecture also. If you have not subscribed the channel, please subscribe the channel and press the bell icon also. Harsh Upadhyay says chromosome problem in case of mules. Yes, you are right, my son. Tigon, Sumit has given an example of another hybrid. Okay, Ji. Question number 10. Which of the following is correct with respect to reproduction in living organisms? Exclusive but defining feature. Characteristic but non-defining feature. Defining but non-exclusive, characteristic but defining. See, when such a question comes, you may get lost. The terms are seeming to be so complicated, but just now I told you that reproduction is characteristic feature. Undoubtedly, it is characteristic feature, but it is not a defining feature. Have you understood whatever I have told to you till now? Gyandeep, Liger, bilkul sahi. There's so many hybrids. There's so many hybrids. We'll discuss when we'll discuss about evolution. Till now everything is clear. We are revising also what we have done in the previous session, because in the previous session many students were demanding that they want exclusively NCERT lines with explanation, NCERT lines with questions, with more examples. So that is what I have done today. The statement, nothing lives forever, yet the life continues. It illustrates the role of what? It illustrates the role of embryogenesis, morphogenesis, replication or reproduction. Nothing lives forever, but yet the life continues. Ananya Sarkar, I want the answer. The answer is reproduction. Nothing lives forever, but still the life continues, because living organisms, they reproduce. They produce individuals which are similar to them. Okay guys, assertion reason type of questions, statement based question it is basically. Read the following statements and select the correct option. Number 1, reproduction cannot be considered as a defining property of living organisms. Agreed? It is correct. Reproduction cannot be considered as a defining property. Statement 2. There are many living organisms which do not reproduce, like mules and worker bees, etc. Both statements are correct. Statement 1 is correct but 2 is incorrect. Statement 1 is incorrect but 2 is correct. Yeah, both are incorrect. Let me see. Nitya has answered 12A. Iram Fatima, Gyandeep, Divya, Prerana, Tirath Raj sahi jawab de rahe hain. Both statements are correct. Right? So acquaint yourself with the kind of questions which the examiner can frame, picking up a particular sentence of NCERT, and don't let yourself get confused. Right, Ji? Metabolism, next feature. All living organisms, they are made up of chemicals. There are hundreds of chemicals in your body. They can be small, they can be big, they belong to variety of classes, sizes, functions, right? There are so many chemical reactions, conversions which are going on in your body. They are called the metabolic reactions. In previous session also we have discussed that metabolism is the sum total of all chemical reactions occurring in your body. No non-living object exhibits metabolism, right? Metabolism, two types, anabolism and catabolism. All the plants, animals, fungi, microbes, they exhibit metabolism. Sometimes students, they get confused. Microbes, they show metabolism or not. Please remember, all my Raja Beta and Rani Betiya, whether an organism is microscopic or it is very big in size, it shows metabolism. There is building up reactions, there are breakdown reactions which are happening in the body. So when we define metabolism, it means sum total of all the biochemical reactions. Anabolism, building up pathway. Catabolism, breakdown pathway. Both reactions are happening simultaneously. So I can say that metabolism is a defining property of living organisms. Toshin, clear hai? Divya, Sameer, great. Metabolism, the two types. Anabolism, that is constructive type, building up reactions, and there is formation of complex substances, as in case of photosynthesis. When we say catabolism, there is destruction, there are breakdown reactions, say for example digestion of proteins into amino acids, digestion of starch into maltose, isomaltose, limit dextrins. Metabolic reactions can be demonstrated outside the body in cell-free systems. You take a test tube, you add starch to it, you add salivary amylase enzyme, you will see that starch is converted into maltose, isomaltose if you maintain proper temperature and pH. So you can demonstrate metabolic reactions outside the body also in the cell-free systems. Now, next sentence. An isolated metabolic reaction or reactions, one single reaction, isolated metabolic reaction outside the body of an organism performed in a test tube, you will say it's neither living nor it is non-living. That is something you cannot say that it is living, you cannot say that it is non-living, because it is an isolated single metabolic reaction. So metabolism is a defining feature of all living organisms without exception. Isolated metabolic reactions in vitro. I explained the meaning of the term in vitro, outside the body, in the glass, in the laboratory. They are not living things, but you can say that they are something which are a feature, which are a kind of living reactions. A living reaction which is shown outside the body because that reaction is happening inside the body of the animal also. So next point, NCERT says cellular organization of body is the defining feature. Cellular organization of the body is the defining feature. We all are made up of cells. Cells, we have trillions of cells in our body. Cells, they group to form tissues, then organs, then systems. The question is, sum total of the chemical reactions which are occurring in a body, you call it homeostasis, evolution, hemostasis. Now see these two terms, it is hemostasis, it is homeostasis. Homeostasis is maintenance of constant internal environment. Hemostasis is prevention of blood loss. So the correct answer to the question is metabolism. I hope you are getting confidence when you are practicing these questions. Let me know in the chat box. Let me know in the comment section. Are you feeling confident? Then write yes. If you're not feeling confident, then answer no. Yes or no. Quickly. I should know that my efforts are making any change or not. I'm yelling at the top of my voice so that this positive energy is being transferred to you people through this technology. So I want to know your answer. Arpita says, yes, we are feeling confident. Nitya, yes. Gyanadeep, Priyanshu, Sumit, Tirathraj, Kirti, Fatima, Arima, Harsh. If you have any doubt, any question, feel free to talk to me on my Telegram. Dr. Dr. Sachin Kapur, Kapur, talk. Dr. Sachin Kapur talk. Or Unacademy NEET Elixir Telegram group also you can join. Which of the following shows metabolism? Very easy, very simple question, but sometimes students get confused that microbes are mentioned. Kirti Johar, so Kirti Lohar it is, I'm sorry, Sumit Roy. Sometimes students, they get confused when it comes this term, microbes and fungi. So which of the following shows metabolism? Animals only, plants and animals only, microbes and fungi, or all of these? An easy question. Gyanadeep, Sumit says, sir, your voice motivates us. That is what my aim is. So the correct answer is all of these. Cellular organization, an important feature of the living organisms. See, an organism is made up of so many systems. Systems are made up of organs. Organs are made up of tissues. Tissues are made up of cells. So properties of tissues, a property which is there in the tissue, those properties are not present in the constituent cells. A cell may not have that property, but when cells, they group to form a tissue, tissue may be showing a different kind of property, right? So that means that property arises as a result of interaction among the constituent cells. One cell interacting with another cell interacting with another cell, and then finally they are forming a tissue. Gyanadeep says viruses show metabolism. Gyanadeep, I said that when a virus is outside the body of the host, it is non-living. But when it enters into the body of the host, it takes up the cellular machinery, it hijacks the cellular machinery of the host. Understand? Properties of cellular organelles. Cellular organelles like mitochondria, Golgi, centrioles, whatever properties these have. Properties of cellular organelles are not present in the molecular constituents of the organelle. If I am talking about mitochondria, mitochondria is showing one particular property. If I dissect out mitochondria further and I see it's made up of lipids, proteins and carbohydrates, those constituents are not showing that property which mitochondria is showing. So that's what I want to say. When those individual components, they are clubbed together, they are forming an organelle which is showing something different, which is showing a different property. Properties of cellular organelles are not present in molecular constituents of the organelle. Then how those properties arise? But they arise as a result of interaction among the molecular components. Is it clear? Mitochondria, which is the powerhouse of the cell. Harsh, you are right. Whatever property mitochondria is showing, if you look into details of mitochondria, you find it has proteins, carbohydrates, lipids, nucleic acids, DNA also. Those individual components are not showing that property. So this is something very interesting. When those individual components are interacting, then they are forming mitochondria which is showing a different property. That is what is the beauty of the life. Ananya says slides are awesome. If you really like the slides, hit the like button. Why don't you comment also? Once the session is over, right, it gets uploaded on the YouTube. I expect to read your comments also about the session. We are not charging you anything for these sessions. It's completely free of cost for you people. At least you can show your love, your affection, your care, your respect in the form of likes and the form of your comments, right, Sumit beta? Okay, then it says these interactions, they result in emergent properties. Now you understood the meaning of the emergence. Individual things are not showing that property, but the complex organization is showing that behavior, right? So interactions result in emergent properties at a higher level of organization. This phenomena is true in the hierarchy of organizational complexity at all levels. Each and every sentence is from NCERT. I have not framed these sentences. I am just explaining the sentences to you with examples and making you practice more and more questions. Hence, cellular organization of the body is the defining feature of life forms. Another question. See, this living world chapter seems to be very easy, but when it comes to framing of certain questions, Ansh beta, then the examiner may be smart enough in framing such a question which you are not able to answer. Right? Ritik says, sir, why you are not speaking in Hindi? Ritik, I'll give you the answer. This Unacademy NEET Elixir channel is exclusively in English because we want that all the students throughout India should be confident in this language. Right? Your NCERT is also written in English. Harsh Upadhyay, thank you, beta. Great. Arima Pandey says, sir, that I thought that perhaps you will not read the comments. I always ensure to read the comments, and I always give you a heart also, and I try to reply also to the comments. Great. Consciousness. Perhaps the most obvious and technically complicated feature. Can examiner frame a question? Yes. Examiner can frame a question. Which is the most complex, most obvious, technically complicated feature of all living organisms is ability to sense their surroundings or the environment and then respond to the environmental stimuli. Stimuli can be physical, chemical, biological. We discussed in the previous class also that we are able to gather information from the surroundings with the help of our sense organs. We have sense of vision, eyes, we have sense of touch, we have sense of hearing, we have sense of smell, we have sense of taste. In addition to this also, Ansh beta, we have certain other senses also. You have sense of time, you have sense of hunger. We say na, that I could sense that the other person is not feeling good about me, or the other person is sending out negative vibrations. That means we have many other senses than these basic senses. Okay, we are discussing consciousness. Do plants, they have consciousness? Yes. Plants respond to external factors, light, temperature, moisture, water, pollutants. So all the organisms from the prokaryotes to the most complex eukaryotes can sense and respond to environmental cues. Whether it is a prokaryotic organism, whether it is a bacteria, whether it is an amoeba, whether it is a sponge, or whether it is a hydra, the animals are able to sense, organisms are able to sense. Moaz says we have sense of thirst and we have sense of hunger also. Agreed. You might be feeling thirsty, you might be feeling hungry. That is also a sense. What is photoperiod? Photoperiod means light duration. Photoperiod is light duration. It affects reproduction in seasonal breeders, plants, as well as animals. All the organisms, they handle the chemicals which are entering their body. Whatever chemical is going into your body is able to handle that. If you are eating protein, your body is able to break down the protein into amino acids. Right. Arima says that we have sense of recalling the past and predicting the future. Right. So all organisms, they are aware of their surroundings. Agreed. Now one very important thing, from here the question can be framed. Human being, the only organism who is aware of himself and has self-consciousness. Humans are the only organisms who are aware of their own. That is what is self-consciousness. I discussed about this self-consciousness in the previous session also, that suppose there are so many humans who are sitting in a room. You enter into that room and you may be having this kind of sensation. You get conscious that should I walk properly, should I talk properly, should I how do I have to behave, so that self-consciousness is in case of humans only, right? Sumit says negativity is everywhere but positivity is here. Kirti says east or west, Sachin sir is best. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. God bless you. Harsh beta, I'll discuss about a coma case also. Scientists, they differ on the difference between consciousness and self-awareness, right? There is something called consciousness and something which is called self-awareness, and the scientists, they differ on their opinion. Say, let's understand. Consciousness is awareness of one's body and one's environment. Self-awareness means recognition of that consciousness. Not only understanding that one exists, but further understanding that one is aware of one's existence. You know that you are alive, and you are aware of the fact that you are alive. Did you get the difference? Did you understand this thing? Right? Ritik says, why nature has given this self-consciousness to humans and not to other animals? For this, you need to understand evolution. You need to understand the development of the brain. What additional features do we have? Right? Namrata? Wonderful. Another way of thinking about it. See, to be conscious is to think. When you are conscious, that means you are thinking. To be self-aware is to realize that you are a thinking being and to think about your own thoughts. You understand? You are thinking and you know that you are thinking. You are aware of your thoughts. You are planning to murder someone. You are planning to approach someone with love or anything like that, and you are aware of that. Did you get the difference between these two? Priyanshu says, sir, killer experience. Ananya says that kindly use the white background. Okay, Ananya, though I am promising this thing in every class, but okay, I'll try. Human infants are conscious. They perceive and respond to people and things around them, but they are not yet self-aware. Did you understand? Infants are conscious. The papa is calling, mama is saying, come here. They have this consciousness, but they're not self-aware of this thing. Did you understand the difference? Right? See, in their first years of life, infants develop a sense of self. They learn to recognize themselves in the mirror and to distinguish their own point of view from other people's perspective. So this is something which a baby learns, which a baby develops. Sumit says that humans and dolphins have emotions. There are other animals also which have emotions. Have not you seen a dog crying when the owner of the dog dies? Have not you seen cows crying when something bad or something wrong happens? Okay, human beings are the only organisms that have self-consciousness. Please remember this thing. While framing the questions, examiner can ask you this thing. Is it clear, Ji? A person in coma is living or non-living. Now the controversy comes, when a person is in coma, is it living or is it non-living? Farman Ullah says, sir, I am from Pakistan. Here most of the students, they watch your lecture. Thank you so much. God bless you all. Wish you all a very bright and prosperous future. Do not forget to share my lectures with all your friends in all your academic groups, and don't forget to press the like button. See, when a person is in coma, the patient has no self-consciousness and he is supported by machines. It is difficult to define the living state in such cases as non-living or living, because they show features of both. But one thing is happening in the living person who is in coma, and that one thing is what? That one thing is metabolism. When it comes to human beings, it is all the more difficult to define the living state. We observe patients who are lying in coma in hospitals, virtually supported by machines that are replacing their heart and lungs, and we say that the patient is brain dead. The patient is not having self-consciousness. A person who is in coma doesn't have self-consciousness. But the thing is, the person is showing metabolism. The person is showing cellular organization, right? So are such patients who never come back to normal life living or non-living? In higher classes, you will come to know that all living phenomena are due to underlying interactions. That is what is metabolism. Clear, Ji? Puneet? Those of you who have not pressed the like button, do it right now to mark your attendance in my heart, to mark your attendance at our channel. So therefore we can say that living organisms, they are what? They are self-replicating, they are evolving, self-regulating interactive systems which are capable of responding to external stimuli. This is how NCERT has defined living organisms. They are self-replicating, they are evolving, they are self-regulating interactive systems, and they are capable of responding to external stimulus. So I thought that I'll start with the nomenclature part today, but I couldn't that. We have limitation of time. So this nomenclature thing I'll be starting in the next class. Just let me have you give you an idea. In this we'll be discussing about the local names, vernacular names, what is identification, what are the scientific names, what is international code for botanical nomenclature, ICBN, and we'll be practicing so many questions also. So this is the way I teach you on YouTube. I hope you are liking these beautiful slides, the wonderful animations, this explanation. So those of you who want to join me on the Unacademy Plus platform, I would suggest you to download the Unacademy app in your phone, install the app, and then follow the steps which are given so that you are able to attend my classes. Do not forget to join this NEET Elixir Telegram group. This is our Unacademy app. I have so many lectures already available on the Unacademy app. You can watch those free lectures, and very soon I'll be starting with special classes also, which are completely free of cost. You have different membership options to choose. Plus, iconic, one thing which you need to do is that when you take Unacademy subscription, you will have to use my code, that is Sachin Life, for certain special benefits. Right? So this is the code which you people can use. Do not forget to subscribe our channel and hit the bell icon. We wish you all a very bright and prosperous future, and do not go away. Very soon ANOOP Vashishtha sir will be here with the chemistry session. God bless you all. Bye.